Yo, what is going on, guys? Toxico Cereal, and welcome back to another Brawl Stars video. I'm very quiet because it's 11:50 at night, and I should probably be in bed, but I want to get a video in, and we're going to be doing it very quickly here. We're going to be rebalancing the meta for Season 20, or Season 30. Wow, we're actually this far into the season, so it's 4 days left in the season, and Adrian, who is the Supercell's lead for balance changes for Brawl Stars, posted on Twitter that there will be balance changes coming very soon here. So I'm going to be doing a quick video on what the hell I think should be buffed, nerfed, etc., whatever. So I'm not going to go into gameplay. I'm just literally going to tap on the brawler and just tell him what the hell needs to be nerfed or buffed. So we're going to probably do a lot here, but I want this video to be nice and brief because I don't want to be yapping for 20 minutes. So I'm going to try and get every brawler done as quick as possible. So without further ado, let's start off with the nerfs. So starting off with the first nerf, it's going to be Mo. Everybody knows that Mo is by far the best brawler in the game. It's not even close. So I would like to see 3 nerfs to Mo. Number 1 has to be anything to do with his damage. So for me, I think this should just tweak his damage ever so slightly. Instead of 1,200 per tick, just make it like 1,120. Like, it's a little bit of a nerf, but it doesn't kill his damage, because it's very inconsistent at times, but it just shreds at really random times. Number 2 is going to be to his super. So for me, I think his super just offers too much damage, because by the time you pop out with the super, you're basically shredding them into pieces. So for me, I think they should just nerf the damage when he's underground. I think it's 1,600 and then 1,600 when he comes up as well. Like, that's 3,200 damage, and then he deals 5,600 damage per second. You're shredded into pieces. So for me, I think they should just nerf it to 800 when he's underground, or even 800 when he pops us as well. And then the last nerf I want to see, I feel like nobody talks about this, is when he supers and he goes back into normal form immediately, he replenishes all of his ammo. Like, for me, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, if you miss a bad super, you can literally just get out of super and then spam your attack 3 times, basically get another super, and repeat the cycle. So for me, that just doesn't make any sense. When he gets out of super, just make him have 1 or no ammo. He should not have all 3 if he gets out of super immediately. Now, the way it is right now is he has the ammo of what he had when he leaves the super, but most of the time, you don't use much ammo with Mo because he just deals so much damage. So I think they should just make it so that he only has 1 or no ammo no matter what. Next up on the nerf list, I hate to say it, but it's Chester. Chester right now is insanely meta. In terms of ladder and competitive, I see him all of the time. Like, he's banned a lot in ranked because of his damage output. So for me, I think they need to tweak his damage ever so slightly. There's 2 ways you can do it. You could just nerf it just in general. It does 1,280 per tick. Maybe like 1,200 flat out is fine. Or you could nerf his first star power. I feel like 200% damage extra. Like, he deals 2,500 something damage. Like, that's a lot of damage. Just make it like 150% instead of 200%, because his damage ramps up so quickly. So, but I don't want a big nerf from Chester. Just a little damage nerf. That's all that's needed. Next up on the nerf list, it's going to be Gail. Gail right now has been meta for a hot minute, ever since the bug with his super made it deal a lot of damage, but then they reworked his super to deal more damage, but not bugged anymore. It just doesn't make sense. For me, Gail's super damage is way too high. 1,640? Like, that's a lot of damage, because for most of the time, you use Gail's super to... You're supposed to use Gail's super to just push back the enemies. He's supposed to be a tank counter, but the way you use Gail right now is you literally just use a super to finish off a kill. And it's impossible to miss, especially with the hypercharge that gives the damage buff and spawns 2 of them. It's just too easy to team wipe, so his super damage needs to be nerfed to like 1,300 maximum, in my opinion. His super damage should not deal more than like 1,300 damage. It just doesn't make any sense. Next up on the nerf list, it's going to be Larry and Laurie. Larry and Laurie make no sense as a brawler. Like, they're supposed to be a thrower brawler, and thrower brawlers technically get countered by assassins. Nope, not Larry and Laurie, because once Laurie gets in the battlefield, assassins are doomed, because Larry already deals a lot of damage with his easy-to-hit main attack, but then Laurie just plays insane defense and just helps shred the process even more. So, for me, there's 2 nerfs you could do. I would like to see at least 1 of them. Number 1 is going to be to Larry's second tick attack. So after the first one, the second one explodes like pretty much immediately after, and it's very much impossible to avoid that second one if you get hit by the first one. So delay it by ever so slightly, and that would be a nice nerf, or nerf its supercharge rate. At least give him like less of a chance to defend himself, because once Laurie's in the battlefield, Larry and Laurie are pretty much unkillable, because Laurie tanks a lot of the damage and will just chase down an aggro, and if an aggro tries to approach, you can't. Like, Laurie will just shred you, because Laurie deals a decent amount of damage, and Larry, with the damage combined, you're cooked. Like, there's no shot. So maybe take it 10 hits instead of 8 to get the first super, and maybe that's a decent change, because they've received so many nerfs, and they're still a top 10 brawler in the game. It just doesn't make any sense. And the final brawler we're going to be talking about in terms of nerfs, there's more brawlers we can talk about. This is just one that I want to see. It's going to be Daryl. I like Daryl as a brawler. I appreciate the rework Supercell gave him, but I think he's just a tad bit too strong. He cycles through supers just a little bit too quickly. Now, we do agree that his gadgets and star power still suck, but he gets 2 rolls. That's so much. There's just so much mobility and then so much potential with Daryl now that it's just hard to keep up. So for me, I would tweak his supercharge rate ever so slightly, but don't kill Daryl, because he's been such a bad brawler for so long. He just recently became meta, so just tweak his super just ever so slightly. Alright, we're moving on to the buffs now, starting off with Doug. Everybody knows Doug has been a historically terrible brawler ever since his release, so one of two things. Give him the healing trait, or give him the tank trait. I don't care which one. Give him something. Make him at least meta. Or just buff his healing from his main attack. Maybe make it like 1800, because when he healed 2400, he was an S tier brawler, because he healed so much. But when he heals 1200, it's just nothing. So maybe split it down the middle if they don't want to give him a trait. Next up on the buff list, we're going to be talking about Ash. Ash is just a forgotten brawler. I don't remember the last time I've seen this brawler. Like, he can be very good in the right situation, but I just never see him. And I think the biggest problem is just, he's too easy to counter. Like, it's very hard to ramp up and get in range in the first place. Like, he takes damage, but, like, it's just hard for him to get into range, and he can't really cycle through the rats very well if he doesn't have a good map-dependent map. So for me, a while ago, one of his first nerfs is his rage meter. Basically, the amount of damage he took to charge his rage meter used to be 75% of his HP. Once that was gone, he would be fully raged. Now it's 125% HP. So I would just make it in the middle, 100%. So if he takes 90% of his health, he's 90% raged. So he's pretty much almost raged fully if he takes 90% of his damage. And then he'll slowly heal up and then get back into that. So maybe change that and he'll become a little bit better, because Ash, I never see him. He's never used. Next up on the buff list, I feel like nobody talks about this brawler. It is Bull. Bull actually sucks. It's like really badly. It's not talked enough a lot. Bull, in my opinion, has never been a good brawler ever since this game. Like, the only time he was somewhat decent since I've been playing is when he got his hypercharge first into the game, and it kind of gave him a bug where every time he supered, he would take damage reduction. Maybe just make that a permanent kit. I don't know. That or rework his super completely, because his super sucks. It is really awful. Like, the only thing that makes it decent is the Stomper gadget, which you can use, but at the same time, like, no, it literally, like, his super's a straight line, and you never really get in a good position. So, for me, rework his super, make it so that he can have a little bit of mobility while using it. Otherwise, I don't know what to do with Bull, because he sucks. Next up on the buff list, we're going to be talking about Ruffs, and Ruffs has been another very forgotten brawler, just like Ash. Like, I don't remember the time I've seen a Ruffs. The last time I seen a Ruffs was when mutations were in the game, because Ruffs mutation was the most broken one by far, that and Rico's. But Ruffs, I feel like we don't talk about this enough. Spen, one of my favorite, no, not one of my, Spen is my favorite Brawl Stars YouTuber, brought up a very good point with his super, is that when they first changed the power scaling from 50% to 100% of the buffs from power 1 to power 11, they didn't change Colonel Ruff's super HP, so it was left at 700. So either they need to buff that or scale it properly from power 1 to 11. So I think power 11 should give like a 1400 HP buff. Now that seems kind of crazy, but Ruffs right now just isn't that good. Like, keep the damage increase of 20%. Don't change that. But give it some more HP, man. Make that power-up worthy. Because right now, it's just not worthy. Alright, and the final brawler we're going to be talking about, everybody knows it's Hank. Hank sucks. Hank's never really been that great of a brawler ever since they completely killed him with all the nerfs he had in the past. So for me, like I said, my favorite Brawl Stars YouTuber brought up a good point, giving him the tank trait, which I'm okay with. But honestly, I would just buff his supercharge rate in general. It takes 4 fully charged bubbles to charge his super. But maybe just make it 3, maybe even 2.5. Because, like, Angelo, it takes 3 hits. And Angelo can hold it down forever. Hank's will blow after 3 seconds. So maybe make his super faster. That way he can at least heal up from his super and defend himself. Because the way you play Hank right now is you do nothing but suffer the whole game. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know in the comments any other ones you agree, disagree, or that I missed. There's obviously a lot of brawlers I could have picked, but I just picked the most key ones, in my opinion, and just ones that I think have been suffering that not a lot of people talk about. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you next time.